candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi. However, reports have emerged that discussions are underway within the People's Democratic Party to present former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan as his presidential candidate in 2027 general election. Since his defeat in 2015, Jonathan has largely distanced himself from active politics. Multiple reports indicate that alongside efforts to bring Jonathan back, the PDP is also in talks with former Kano State Governor and current Senator Rabi Musa Kwankwaso to have a possible run as Jonathan's vice presidential candidate. Joining us now to discuss Jonathan's candidacy and how it would change the color of the 2027 race is Professor Tuko Mohammed Baba, Publicity Secretary of the Arewa Consultative Forum. Great to have you, Prof. Prof, what's your read about the Jonathan Kwankwaso ticket at a point in time like this? And some people are saying the North will favor it. I'm like, if the North will favor it, hypothetically, I'm not saying the North will favor it because some people are saying the North will favor it, but if they favor it, what is it now that all of a sudden they see in Jonathan now that they didn't see in 2015?
Well, the most immediate is because whether we like it or not, the campaign has started. Two, whether we like it or not, politicians on all sides, I think, in my opinion, are desperate. Desperate for the right team, desperate to appeal to the voter, desperate for relevance and so on. So it's not new. We have seen this kind of movements before in other elections, all kinds of permutations, all kinds of combinations. What is probably surprising is to say the North will support this or the South will support that and so on. These are all speculations. What we do know is that all the political actors or the major political actors are in this race, and everyone wants to sell their point of view and so on. Whether or not this will pan out, I think it's speculative. When you say the North, when you say the South, we are not talking of the people. I think we are talking of the politicians and their desire to win elections and so on. But certainly it's interesting to see the extent all parties are going to pool support to bring whoever they think is a heavyweight, quote unquote. So these are interesting times, but we wait to see. I personally think it's a long way to 2027, but of course, desperation is pushing a lot of people into all kinds of combinations and choices.
Absolutely. I'm glad you reiterated the fact that we have a long way to go until 2027, but unfortunately, these are the conversations that are happening as politicians continue to strategize behind the scenes. Now, one major conversation that's happening is the issue of the one term, serving 4 years, of which Peter Obi has come out and made a vow with the people and made a promise that he would only serve one term. So some people are saying that, well, Goodluck Jonathan is preferable because he's only entitled to one term constitutionally. Do you think that this gives Goodluck Jonathan a competitive edge in terms of becoming more appealing to those in the North who feel that in 2031 the rotation must be respected and brought back to the North? So, sir, let me just make my... Sorry, so if I may just make my question clear, why would Goodluck Jonathan be attractive to the North?
I don't know whether he is attractive or he is not. I think these are permutations and campaign being pushed by politicians. I don't know if Goodluck Jonathan will be attractive to anybody, except if he comes out and says exactly what they have for the country and will wait for the voters to see if that is true. But so far, I think most people are just speculating on which part of Nigeria will support which candidate or not. Well, Goodluck Jonathan, on the surface of it, is attractive. Why? Because over time, and especially since 2015, he has accumulated a number of positives. One, he gave up when he thought he lost the election quietly, and he had been living a quiet life, enjoying international recognition, being sent on missions overseas and so on. And of course, some of the baggage he carried on to 2015, or people thought he was clueless and so on. The development since 2015 seemed to favor him. And so on. So he looks attractive, but I think there is still a long way to go for him to sell himself. Let's not also forget that in the build-up to 2023, there were wide speculations that the APC was wooing Goodluck Jonathan to bring him into the fray, to stand for election as if he was, quote-unquote, forgiven by the same APC that vilified him. In the long run, it did not work out. in the long run, he did not come out openly to say, yeah, he was interested in the position and so on. But, you know, Goodluck Jonathan will be a candidate, but of course he needs to do a lot more to sell himself, to offer himself as an alternative, to show that he's now different from the Goodluck Jonathan we knew, whether as a person or circumstances have turned out that some of the criticisms against him were simply political and so on. Well, anybody could be a candidate, but I think given the circumstances right now in the country, the difficulties people are facing, the challenging economic conditions, it will take a lot more for a politician, whether they are from the south, the north, or from the moon, to convince themselves, to convince the electorate that they are different, or that they offer a new alternative.
But Prof,
Yes,
he stands in that unique situation that he's the only one who only has one constitutional term allowed to him, except, of course, for the incumbent, who also has one term. Is this not something that gets people excited? Yeah. Because you know that no matter what, he has to go. Unlike Peter Obi, for example, who, you know, due to public demand at the time, may say, well, the people have said I should continue. Is this not a juicy and attractive offer?
Not to me. Let's get this clear. It's speculation, and it's a personal opinion. Elder Sani, myself here, cannot speak for the ACF or for the North. The North is a highly complex geopolitical and social entity. There is no one part of the North, either singly or collectively, will say they support or do not support this and that candidate. A lot will depend on circumstances. A lot will depend on the appeal that the candidate has. It will be a great disservice for anyone to say they are speaking for the North, because the North is not one political entity. It's a highly complex geopolitical entity with over 200 ethnic groups, all sorts of religious persuasions. And I think anybody who says they speak for the North directly, this is definitely what the North will do or will not do. I think it's just expressing a personal opinion.
Okay, Prof.
Don't be too sold on this idea.
Prof. Okay, good to have you. So in terms of one term, everybody, most people say they will do one term. In fact, one of the things that puts Goodluck Jonathan with the North, that puts Goodluck Jonathan in problems with the North, was because in 2011, he said he was going to do one term. In fact, he went ahead to say that he was going to tell the lawmakers to push forward a bill for single-term presidency. But when it was in 2015, the dynamics changed, and it was said that the North punished him. Do you think that the North, for all everybody saying they're going to do one term, do you think the North has a mechanism of punishing people that renege on their words? In fact, I think it was Chief Olusegun Obasanjo in the Bloomberg interview that further stated the fact that President Jonathan had told him that he was going to do one term. And I would like to ask you this second question, Prof. It's a technical question. Politically, culturally, yes, the North is an aggregation of many diverse groups and interests, tribe and religion. But politically, is the North a monolith?
No, it is not. In fact, I think the North is one of the most politically diverse entities of the country. Let's go back to even immediate post-independent period. The North had many parties. The NPC, Northern People's Congress, was, of course, the dominant party. But there was NEPU. There was the Taka-led Middle Belt Congress. Okay? And so many, if you check the Northern Assembly in the post-independent period, the North had so many other interests that were also represented. They may be minorities. Fast forward to 1979. Again, the North showed itself to be diverse. While we had the GNPP, we had the PRP, we had the National Party of Nigeria. They were all represented at the state and national levels by diverse political interests. Now, fast forward to 2023. Again, this is what we have, that the North has, representatives, political office holders from diverse backgrounds and diverse political persuasions. I think we make too much of the so-called cultural affinity that push Northerners to one side or another. But I personally think, going through history as I did, the North has been one of the most politically diverse, politically ideologically diverse entity in the country. And for anyone to claim they speak for the whole North, and I think they are just deceiving themselves. And no one should make any mistake about it. People, so long as it's a democratic atmosphere, the North will continue to show diversity. Of course, it is tempting to look at the major or the overriding political group, but no, the North is more highly diverse than we give credit to it for.
Okay, so I'd like to look at another dimension of this
A disparity in allocation of resources, in allocation of priorities. Rabiu Musa Konkoso is a politician, and we should never forget that. But certainly, the ACF in 2024 confronted the president and gave him a list of what we think the priorities of the North are: infrastructure, education, economic empowerment, and so on. And you can always say that the current administration is not doing enough. There is a lot more to be done. So what I will say is Rabiu Musa Konkoso expressed his opinion. He was entitled to it. And of course, I will express my opinion. And I think all over, there are so many things that could have been done, that could have been done by the government, by the present administration, to improve the conditions of North. I think a lot more should be done in education. But of course, again, I will say that the education, it's every level of government has something to do. Is the North, people are not, but like I said, you know, a lot more can be done.
Okay, Prof. I deliberately asked you the question, is the North a monolith? And I deliberately asked, and I got the answer I wanted, but I would like to prove to you that it is a monolith politically. Let's go back historically. In the days of Nepals of this world and MPC, no matter how Aminu Kano held sway, MPC got the larger seats. There was always a dominant party.
Yeah.
In the last election, yes, there was a free-for-all. Peter Obi got about 2 million votes out of the North. Atiku Abubakar got about 3 million votes. The APC still came out on top. Politically, it's still a monolith because a lot of the Muslim North votes thrives over the minority Christian North votes. And it is with that the North bargains whatever it gets politically. So it is a monolith politically, despite the fact that I want to say, oh, it is free across board, and that's what comes to the table. So to further make my argument, when you said that the APC brought about a lot of promises in 2015 and they voted out Jonathan, by 2019, is it that the North didn't see that Buhari was not performing and they still voted en masse again? Because there's a clear question of what has this government not done for the North? This government claims over 50% of the allocation was given to the North. Somebody from the South like me should feel disgruntled about that because we should feel there should be equity. But when you look at the disposition, yes, in terms of landmass, the North is bigger. So I wouldn't take that to heart. My question is, what is it that ought to be done that has not been done? And what will be done to please the North?
Again, Mr. Rufai, I hesitate to speak for the North. I hesitate to generalize on the North. You can't force me to do that because for me, the evidence is not as straightforward as you think. When the government speaks of 52% allocation to the North, I laugh because it reminded me of my undergraduate days over 50 years ago when a very good book, How to Lie with Statistics. If it's 50%, let's see it on ground. If it's 50% of a point, let's see it. You know, you can lie with statistics. You can claim everything. You know, there is a difference between actual implementation and statement of intentions. You can do allocations in the budget, but you never implement. You can actually allocate 80%, and if it is not implemented, to what effect? If there is no cash benefit, to what effect? Look at allocations to agriculture. The agricultural production is the backbone of the economy of the North. How much have we devoted to agriculture? Look at allocations, for example. Let me give you the recent allocation of funds to universities for... Yeah? Okay, let me finish this. You know, out of seven universities that were selected for intervention, 4 are in the southwest. I mean, you can talk about it. You can lie with the statistics. What is the effect? To what extent has this been backed by concrete policy funds allocation and actual implementation?
No, but the government said they are doing roads.
Yeah.
The government said they are doing roads. They've purchased 3,000 tractors. Niger is benefiting for it. Niger is having the highest production numbers in terms of some crop. Yeah. That's what this government is saying.
Mr. Rufai, Niger State procured tractors, but that was done, in my opinion, by the state government as it should. You are telling me what the government is claiming. I'm saying we are not seeing it on the road, on the ground. Go to the northeast, see the state of roads. I cannot think of any part of the northeast, for example, that you will have about 250 kilometers of uninterrupted, smooth ride. You can say so for any part of the country. That's what I'm emphasizing, Mr. Rufai, that let's speak of the country as a whole. When you build a road from Maiduguri to Enugu, it's not only the northeast or north central or southeast alone that benefit. All part of the country will benefit from that road. So you have to look at it from the broad national context. And this idea that the North is grumbled, the North is crying, the North is screaming, and so on, I think we are overdoing it. And it adds to the divisive nature of our politics. These are all manipulation by politicians. Whether the government claims it's 52%, I don't see it on ground. The North is still should change. But so is the South. Roads in the Southeast, and so on. You look at it that way. Let's move away from this idea of the North is a crybaby entity in the country. It is not.
Fantastically put.